up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Do your dance when the G's up. G. Spaced out, got me geeked up. 10 toes on the west, cannot beat us. You cannot. Shining every time they meet us. Rack 'em up since 96. Yeah. Been number one in LA, something slight, that's the gist.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Galaxy episode 4. And I'm here today with Sean, aka Galaxy News 101 and Galaxy Times. This is the first episode Galaxy Times is on, so you guys are all very familiar with Sean. So Galaxy Times, you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Jacob, I guess, and that's about it. I don't know what else to say.
He's a man of many words.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sean, Galaxy News 101 on Instagram. You could find all of us on Instagram. I'm LA_Galaxy_Buzz. And yeah, let's get into it. It's gonna be an interesting week for the LA Galaxy here. And to start off, we got the Coachella Valley Invitational wraps it up this last weekend. As you can see, this graphic by Galaxy Runs LA. The Galaxy fall 1-0 to Chicago Fire in our final preseason match. Any thoughts on this, guys?
I'll take over for you. I thought it was actually a really dominant display from us. The scoreline may not reflect that, but we 100% had lots of chances that we just couldn't capitalize. Chicago's goalkeeper pulled off some great saves as well. But I believe it was a mistake on the back line for the first goal. Well, for the only goal of the game. But other than that, I feel like we played really positively, especially getting that second ball with the midfield, and the work that Surreal was doing with the rest of the attack was really impressive.
Yep, Galaxy Times.
I feel like it was a good game, yeah. I didn't really watch the second half, but from the first half, it was like a through and through match, and I feel like we should have done better with that, what Sean said. Let's should have done better with our chances and really should have capitalized, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't watch too much of this match, but from what I heard, Chris Brady, the goalkeeper for Chicago, I believe, had an outstanding game. But I think there is more takeaways to this match. You saw almost the starting lineup graphic for the Galaxy. We're gonna go over starting lineup soon here, but I think the lineup you see in this game is gonna look very close to what, if not exactly what, the lineup is gonna be against San Diego. But once again, it's just preseason. Let's not overreact. But the Galaxy finished preseason with a 1-2-2 record. I mean, I believe we had a similar record last year. I think we played one more match in the preseason last year, but I don't think it's anything to stress about, guys. I mean, we're not too worried, right, about this game against Chicago?
No, not at all.
All
right.
Not really.
Yeah. I mean, just not much to take away from this besides, obviously putting up 0 goals isn't ideal, but it is what it is. It's just preseason. Coachella Valley, another great year of Coachella. I love that they put together this every single year. Now it's quickly becoming a tradition in MLS, and they got the NWSL playing now. So in case you want to come back out to Coachella, you got the NWSL playing now that MLS is out. And yeah, if you want to catch some women's soccer action, for sure, you head back to India. But that will conclude all MLS play at Coachella Valley. So yeah, onto the next topic here. We got the Galaxy's 2-1 win. We're not fully done with Coachella. The Galaxy get their first win of the preseason. 2-1, both goals scored by Tucker Lepley. And yeah, thoughts on this, guys?
I thought it was a positive display. I feel like we did play. I mean, the scoreline will show a difference, but attacking-wise, I feel like we played a lot better against Chicago. Just we didn't have that finishing touch. Tucker Lepley had a masterclass here with his brace. I feel like the back line, I don't remember the goal we conceded, actually. Was it off a corner?
I think it was off of a corner.
It was off a corner, so
set
piece problems showing up here again.
I could be wrong here. I don't put too much emphasis into watching preseason, so but I did see Tucker Lepley had 2 goals. I watched both of those, but yeah. Any thoughts on that, Galaxy Times?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was off of a corner. It's just Like usual, just the corner issues. We gotta fix that throughout what's left of this week. Try to get a good understanding of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not. Oh, okay, I do remember it was a corner kick because I was not too happy about it. I think last year we did have some improvement in the playoffs when it came to corner kicks, but that was the nagging thing all of last season was corner kicks. A hot take here, maybe. I think our back line is actually last season. I'll talk on this season hasn't started, but our back line last year was, in my opinion, really good, like an elite back line in MLS. But collectively, the set pieces, I mean, when we conceded a goal is usually a set piece, I felt like. I mean, I think we were the second worst team in MLS last year when it came to set pieces. So hopefully this isn't anything that's going to continue. Once again, it's just preseason. But more so, what I was looking at is Tucker Lepley. Tucker Lepley with a brace. They were nice goals too. I believe we also got a Miguel Berry assist for our Berry Hive out here. But yeah, an impressive display by Tucker Lepley. Thoughts on his performance? Like, do you think he could break into the team this year? You saw him a lot with Ventura County last year. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I know there's been news about Sean Davis leaving potentially. So I mean, we'll go over that a bit later on. But with that news coming out, I think now Lepley, Parente, and Winder are gonna have big roles to play, especially coming up in the first stretch of games. But Tucker Lepley had a great game against Minnesota, and yeah, I think he's gonna get a lot more minutes than I thought he was originally supposed to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Galaxy Times.
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I feel like he's gonna rotate between Royce and himself, and up until Pooj gets back. It just depends on if Royce will be as fit. Will Lepley get as much as playing time? But I hope to see him more often.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. Tucker Lepley, I feel like, is a player that you could see really break out this year. You saw him play a lot with Ventura County last year. Didn't really have the opportunity to break into the main team. In fact, you saw Isaiah Parente kind of get minutes ahead of Tucker Lepley, which I think surprised a lot of people. You do have a good, you do got some Lepley diehards out here, like our editor, as well as I know my good friend Jody, part of, they call it Lepley Nation. So we got a good support group for Tucker Lepley that want to see him succeed, including myself. I came from the MLS Super Draft, number 62 overall pick, and it's nice to see him finally get some minutes. And I think with the news that we'll go over next, I guess we can transition into it. Is Sean Davis. Per Tom Bogert, Sean Davis is no longer an LA Galaxy player. We've used our first of 2 contract buyouts this year, maximum, to buy out the remainder of Sean Davis' contract. If you remember, Nashville were paying a good portion. We don't know the exact figure, but you assume a good chunk of Sean Davis' salary. And you see the Galaxy here. Just so the contract buyout, in case you don't know how it works, you pay the player upfront the remainder of their salary. Whatever part the Galaxy were taking from Nashville, we paid all of it upfront to Sean Davis and basically told him to go away. However, if you're wondering why we did this, because a lot of people look back, this is the guy we traded for Brugman. But the huge stipulation in that is that was a salary move. That was strictly a salary move. Sean Davis for Brugman, because if you remember, Gaston Brugman was making over $1 million. Sean Davis was making a bit less, but if you remember, paying a good portion of the salary and now paying none of it means that we cleared all of Brugman's salary and we don't take anything from Sean Davis. We paid him the money, but he will not hit the cap. And yeah, I mean, once a G, always a G, right, guys? Right, Sean?
Yeah, for sure.
Any thoughts on Davis?
I can tell you this wasn't the move I was expecting a few days before the home opener, that's for sure. I thought at least if he wasn't performing in like the middle of the season, you could do some sort of trade. But I mean, that's why I'm not running this team and there's professionals doing it. So I trust in what this front office is doing way more than what I was trusting in them doing a few years back. So if this was their plan all along, then I fully support their plan.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you had Sean Davis starting.
Originally, yes.
Yeah, you had Sean Davis starting in our San Diego preview. We'll go over at the end of the show. But yeah, Galaxy Times. Sean Davis bought out. Any opinions on that?
I'm really sad about it, honestly. With our midfield, I really would love to see him. He's coming off an injury. I felt that he was gonna make an amazing comeback this season, and I really would have loved to see him play, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have enough midfield depth, honestly, to overcome this. Like we just went over, Tucker Lepley scoring a brace, I think probably makes this decision a little easier for the Galaxy when you mentioned that you got Isaiah Parente and Tucker Lepley standing behind them in the midfield. Sean Davis, not the youngest guy, not the oldest guy, but certainly not somebody that constitutes the amount of salary that we were likely going to give him, even if it's a portion of Nashville's. He was going to be a backup. He was going to be a backup. That's what he was brought in to be if he played for the team. But what makes me feel for him a little bit here is watching the interviews, he was very excited about being a Galaxy player. This is someone who talked about in the interview, the Galaxy being the most storied club in MLS history and what an honor it is to play for the club. And he's not even going to register a professional match. So not to rub any salt in the wound, but I know that's got to hurt a little. And I don't think that shows. I think that shows he wasn't even expecting this to happen. So, but it's all about salary cap. We'll go over some salary cap related things later, but I think this helps a lot when you mention Nascimento, a guy that we talked about last podcast potentially coming into the club. You're going to need likely 2 international spots if you loan, I believe it's Aaron Bibu down to Ventura County. You're going to need 2 international spots. And if you know, we're not in the best salary cap position right now. We haven't been all season, all off season. That's why you see the moves that we've made. And, this is just another example of, this happened because we don't have enough salary cap. But I think now you'll see the Galaxy, because you have to be roster compliant before Sunday. Before our first game, we have to be roster compliant. You'll see them acquire probably 2 international spots, and don't be surprised if you see Aaron Bibu get loaned down to Ventura County or anywhere else. So, yeah, definitely helpful to the salary cap. But next, we'll move on to Christian Ramirez. Christian Ramirez. Oh, here we go. We got preseason power rankings we will go over after this. But Christian Ramirez is officially a Galaxy player. The Galaxy announced the acquisition of Christian Ramirez from the Columbus Crew in exchange for $250K in general allocation money plus an additional $250K in performance-based incentives. So you're looking at the Galaxy starting striker right here. We tried to get him on the pod for today, but unfortunately that did not work out. We'll try to see if that's possible sometime in the future. But Christian Ramirez takes up, I believe, a little north of $500,000 in allocation money just for a salary, and an additional $250K to Columbus. But you really look at the salary being a lot less than what we were going to pay Dejan Joveljic this year. And Christian Ramirez is a very experienced striker within Major League Soccer, a huge part of the Columbus Crew's 2023 championship run. And yeah, we even got an LAFC killer. I know he used to play for them, but I think this is a sneaky candidate for our new LAFC killer. I don't know. Thoughts on Christian Ramirez for the Galaxy, John?
I like this move. I like having veterans who've played in MLS for a long period of time. I don't believe his stats were similar to Dejan. If anything, they were just a few numbers apart from each other. But I mean, I'm gonna miss Charles, number 17 on the club from Coachella. So, but yeah, I think this is a great move, wise, especially when you have a U22 striker potentially coming in here, and you need a player who can lead him and help him grow into his starting position. I think over time, I think he can get us a solid 13, 14 goals on the season.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Galaxy Times? Any expectations for Christian Ramirez coming in this season?
I wouldn't say I expect a lot from him for the first half of the season or for the whole entire season actually, because of his age. He's a little old. He's not as good as he was. He doesn't have. If he would have Puig, I would see him putting up double-digit numbers, honestly. But I don't see him doing that well. And then, especially the second half of the season, once Nascimento, he comes in and plays the second half after he gets his green card or
Right.
F1 visa and moves on.
Yeah. I was actually, we were talking about this, I believe, while we were playing FIFA Pro Clubs, Mr. Sean. But I could be mistaken on that. I think Christian Ramirez is one of these players that will come in. He's on a contract option year. I think he'll play a year. This is his hometown. He'll play a year, and potentially hang up the boots or take a salary cap cut. I believe. I think this is his final destination in MLS is the LA Galaxy, because I don't think you come home at this point in his career just to move next year. So, but that would come with the salary cap cut, and he could be a serviceable backup. But like you said, with Nascimento, I think Christian Ramirez could definitely be a guy who comes in and leaves after a year and leaves the reins to Nascimento to come in and be the starting striker. You could see them compete this season for the starting spot. So, but I would expect Christian Ramirez to be the starter against San Diego. Nascimento is not announced yet. We'll go over that when he is. But yeah, Christian Ramirez is officially a Galaxy player. Pretty exciting stuff here, and I have a lot of faith in him, honestly. When it comes to expectations for this year, I think you surround him with Pec and eventually Paintsville when he comes back from injury. I think you'll see, if I had to put a number on it, I think he gets 11 goals and 4 assists this year. If I had to put a number on it,
I could see that, honestly.
Yeah, would that be similar in your range as well? Galaxy Times.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a little more, especially since the second half. But it just matters on is Nascimento gonna provide? Is he gonna do what he's expected to do? Especially how much he's worth, the loan, how much his allocation is, how much we're gonna pay him for his loan. So we'll see how it is.
Yeah, that's true as well. I fully agree. Sean, any last thing on Christian Ramirez here?
Just again, I think he'll get around the 13, 14 goal mark. Maybe 4 or 5 assists, depending on how much playmaking he does.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. And then moving on here, we got Gabriel Pec. We got our star winger Gabriel Pec here. Sean, you want to lead this transfer talks about Gabriel Pec or the rumors surrounding him? You want to talk about that a bit?
So yeah, I believe it was last weekend. There was rumors. I don't remember the team from Brazil, but a team from Brazil was interested in Pec, and they want to get the move done. However, they know it's going to be a pricey bid for Pec, and if they don't have the funds, then they don't have the funds. But a few days ago, it was rumored that Atletico Madrid put in about an $18 million bid or euro bid for Gabriel Pec, as well as the team from Brazil are still monitoring the situation. On top of a Premier League club also interested in Pec. We don't know the name of the Premier League club yet, but that is out there. I think over time, you're going to see more of these teams be interested in Pec, especially if he has a good start of the first half of the season. Surely there's a team knocking for him later on in the summer. I mean, if the price is right for the Galaxy, then I think they pull the trigger, and like if it's 25 million, I think they accept that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I honestly said too, but according to the Galaxy, talked to someone close to the Galaxy itself, a source. He said that that was the first word of it. So it seems like that rumor has already died down. But since last year, I've heard many Premier League clubs. There's probably still more, but haven't came out that really want him. So it could be a watch for this summer. So we could see multiple transfer offers coming in, especially clubs who are leaving a lot of players or losing a lot of players. So we'll see what comes up during the summer.
Yeah, I also I also have a little insight on Gabriel Pec here that he is not likely to leave this window as he is the summer. So I think, by the way, the club in Brazil was Palmeiras. I believe that's how you
Yeah.
pronounce it. And then Atletico Madrid was the recent one. And it seems like the Palmeiras one had a bit more substance to it because according to Corner of the Galaxy, there was almost zero interest to the Galaxy's knowledge in Gabriel Pec from Atletico Madrid. I mean, this could always just be stuff of like Atletico Madrid putting out feelers and whatnot and not actual any contract negotiations or contact with the Galaxy as much as it is like, he's a player we like, when it comes to our winger position. But yeah, you've seen even last year, Arsenal and Liverpool were interested in Gabriel
Yeah.
Pec. Those are massive clubs. Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, and Liverpool are all huge clubs that he could potentially go to. But I don't think he should go to any of those big clubs if I'm being completely honest. And it's not completely up to him because if you get a $25 million bid from the Galaxy and he gets a good salary proposal from like Arsenal, you're Arsenal, Sean. If he gets a good
Yeah.
salary proposal from Arsenal, he's not going to say no. He's not going to say no. But I say that he shouldn't go to any big club because I think he should take a similar path to Miguel Almiron in Newcastle. Go to like a middle of the table kind of rising club. It doesn't even have to be in the Premier League. It could be in La Liga, it could be in the Bundesliga. And yeah, I really think Gabriel Pec should aim a bit in the middle when it comes to getting instead of going to a big club. Like if you go to Arsenal, you think he's gonna start over Saka, Sean? You think he's gonna get any minutes over Saka? Like what's your thoughts on this?
Can I
Well,
say something?
all right, go on.
I honestly disagree with Peyton. I'm an Arsenal fan myself as well, but I feel like going to Arsenal is probably the best Premier League choice. Just due not just Arsenal bias, but due to the Brazilian development Arsenal does since Mikel Arteta with the signings of Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Jesus, they have the Brazilian link up, and they Arsenal are known to they're starting to develop people who are outside of common knowledge. Take up Martinelli for example, someone who wasn't really known throughout his youngster years, signed him for cheap, developed him and looked him, and now I feel like just the Brazilian link up and then the development I could see him honestly starting in 2 years for Arsenal.
Really? Okay. I definitely I disagree to the extent where it's like, yeah, I think Arsenal, you look at them having some of the best development in the world. Even saw it with Julian Araujo in Barcelona. That was a good option for him because Barcelona also they're known for La Masia, and he didn't go through La Masia. He went through the FC Barcelona youth, but when it comes to actually playing for Barcelona, he went to Las Palmas. I think you'd potentially see something similar with Gabriel Pec if he went to Arsenal. You could see him loaned out to somewhere else off the rip. I love Gabriel Pec. This is why it hurts me to say it, but I feel like if we're being brutally honest, when you talk about starting for a Premier League club like Arsenal, going from MLS to like Arsenal or Liverpool or even Atletico Madrid, like we're talking about, that's such a big step to be able to get valuable minutes for those clubs. And you've seen players take it, and I wouldn't doubt him to potentially be a good player for those clubs. But I don't think, like for Liverpool, I'm a Liverpool fan here. We have Mohamed Salah, who in my opinion is the best player in the world right now. And how many years he has left, I don't know, but I do not think Gabriel Pec would ever be our starting winger. And I hope I'm wrong because I love Gabriel Pec, but I think realistically, if you're looking for career trajectory, you need somewhere where you could get minutes now. I mean, even Newcastle or even somewhere in the middle of the table like Bournemouth, and team up with Julian Araujo. Go somewhere like that, aim in the middle, and then you could get minutes, and potentially if you prove yourself at those clubs, then you could make the move up to Arsenal or Liverpool or Atletico Madrid, wherever you want. I would just start a little lower than that so you could actually get minutes and actually get development, because I mean, I would love Gabriel Pec on Liverpool, but I would also know that he wouldn't get enough minutes to be able to properly develop. if you're developing as a player and you want to grow confidence, you need proper minutes. You need starting minutes. And if a club's going to splash $25 to $30 million, it's going to be someone who needs him. And that's why I think you look at someone. I don't think Palmeiras makes any sense to me. I know he came from Brazil. He came from Vasco, and I know Palmeiras is a bit more successful. Well, maybe not a bit more. They're more successful than Vasco are right now, and it would be one of the biggest clubs in Brazil. But Pec wants to go to Europe. He wanted to go to Europe from Vasco. When Pec came here initially, he didn't want to go to MLS off the rip. He wanted to go to Europe. He wanted to make that step. I think in the summer you see Gabriel Pec go to Europe, and I think that might. We'll go over our season predictions a bit later, but that might tamper with it a little bit. But it seems like with all the speculation around Gabriel Pec, it seems like a club in Europe, when their season ends in the summer, they would want to bring in someone like him to have for the full season. Like, if you get him in next winter after the season, the Galaxy probably want to keep Pec. I mean, obviously want to keep Gabriel Pec for the full season. But like you guys said, if a $25 million offer comes around, you're not gonna say no to it when his career ambition is to go to Europe. It is worth noting Vasco da Gama have a 20% sell-on clause, and MLS gets 5% of any sale. So you're already looking at 25% of the value being lost in any Gabriel Pec transfer. You're going to need to make up that sum with a big number, and I think that's something that you'll see. But yeah,
That's what I feel like. The Galaxy is probably gonna add add-ons over the years, probably a few million over the years, and then the I forgot the name. Well, where they complete different tasks or achievements throughout his career. Yeah, performance.
Yeah,
I can see that being added from the Galaxy.
Absolutely. I don't disagree, Sean.
I don't want to keep on circling back to the Gunners here, but I mean, I think for him it would be a logical move to a team like Arsenal. I mean, when you look at our depth right now, we're playing a center mid up top at striker, so. But I think he could get minutes off the bench, especially. But back to the alleged deal bid that Atletico Madrid put in. Personally, I don't think this was real. I mean, it is possible that it's real, but remember the European transfer window closed in the beginning of February. So it's possible this bid came in the beginning of January or some point then, and it's just barely surfacing now. But again, I don't think there was anything to this. I do believe that there are teams around Europe monitoring Pec, because I mean, he's just, in my opinion, he's the best player in MLS by far. Nobody comes close. And if he continues to have, again, if he just has a good season, doesn't even have to be great. If he just has a good season, especially in the first half, there's going to be a team offering 25-ish million, because I mean, nowadays, when you look at that, that's not too much for the transfer market. So a higher Premier League club or La Liga or Serie A club wouldn't mind spending that, taking the risk. And if he doesn't perform well, they can always loan him out, like you were saying.
I feel like there's two clubs that I would rather him go to, honestly. Like, the number one choice other than Arsenal, it would probably be Ajax and Feyenoord. Feyenoord, because of the technical director, former Galaxy man.
Dennis Close, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he might have some involvement in bringing him in. At Ajax, they're known. They spend money on outsiders, and then they develop them to their fullest extent, and they sell them for more. So I feel like if Galaxy do sell up to Ajax, I feel like expect a big percentage sell-on clause from the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, I think it was interesting that you mentioned Galaxy times the sell-on clause. I think absolutely that's something the Galaxy want to get from a Gabriel Pec deal. When I think of that, I reference John Duran with the Chicago Fire, who went to Aston Villa, and now is going to the Saudi Pro League. And that they got 10% of a $75 million transfer. 7.5 million pushed the initial deal, which I believe was 23 million or 22 million for John Duran. It pushed it to the largest transfer fee in MLS history outbound. I think Pec will break this with a sell-on clause. I don't think he'll break it initially. And okay, I'm just going to be brutally honest. Anyone saying that we get over like 30 million for Gabriel Pec, I don't think it happens for an MLS player. I don't think It would
Unless he
take
has
a
like,
very special MLS player to get $30 million out of him, unless
unless
it's a
he
sell-on.
unless he does really good this season, get the Golden Boot, get the MVP, I could see 30 million, like up to 20 at the assists at least. I could see 30 million honestly.
It
If
would
we
have to be
still had Puig starting the season off, if he wasn't injured, I 100% think Peck skyrockets the transfer and gets over 30 million.
Yeah,
really.
honestly.
I just don't know if we'll ever see an MLS player within like the next 5 years go for $30 million, especially if a player Gabriel Pec is. I don't think you get 30 million out of him. Maybe that's a hot take here because I know I've seen a lot of interesting transfer fees go around. And as much as I love Gabriel Pec, and I'm very high on his potential and who he is as a player, definitely MVP candidate. But I think realistically, you see something in the region of $22 to $25 million if he has another good start to the season. But sell-on clause. If he goes to a place like Arsenal or something, and they end up selling him in 2 years for another $40 million, then the Galaxy, if he could secure 15% sell-on clause, you're looking at a good chunk of that. Like, you're looking at a sizable portion to potentially put him over John Duran for the largest transfer in MLS history. Or even if he goes to the Saudi Pro League. I hope not, because I think he could be a lot more competitive in his career with his European ambitions. But you see the money the Saudis throw. If he goes to Europe and then bounces to Saudi like John Duran does, Saudi is not afraid to throw money at you. $75 million. Geez, like,
I wouldn't say he's money hungry. I mean, he's making really big money already here, and
yeah,
here at the Galaxy. It's different between John Duran because of what he grew up with, his environment. He was really poor when he grew up. But with Gabriel Pec, I wouldn't say he was necessarily poor growing up in Brazil. Don't really know about his youngster, but I think he comes from like a better background than John Duran. So I don't see him going to Saudi. Not really. I see him going to either England or somewhere in the Netherlands.
yeah. I could see the Netherlands for sure. If I'm just pulling, if like first league to come to my mind for Gabriel Pec is Italy. I don't know why. I just feel like he'd fit in very well in Italy. Not a huge side, but a recognizable side like Fiorentina or something.
Or like Como, because they spend, they're trying to get some recognition.
Yeah, I mean, just somewhere in Italy, I feel like, or even the Bundesliga, I feel like he'd be a good fit in. His technical abilities through the roof. I mean, if you're running a scouting report on Gabriel Pec, it's ridiculous. You would think teams would figure him out, and they're just not. His technical ability is unlike anything I've seen in a very long time from an MLS player, and he's going to be worth a lot of money. But yeah, I just wanted to go over some Gabriel Pec rumors and clarify that there is nothing solid on Gabriel Pec. Like Sean said, Atletico Madrid transfer window shut in Europe. No more action. Pec will not be going to Europe this window. But summer is very much a possibility. But there's nothing to the Atletico Madrid rumors as of now. But as you can see from the picture right here, Gabriel Pec is wearing the kit that Sean and I are wearing right now, the Ryzen kit. And you wanna transfer into the Ryzen kit right here. I like it. I think a lot of people are very harsh on it at the start when you saw the leaks. I always say it looks better on a player. It looks way better on the players when you actually see the authentic kit. The star is massive. Like the star is big. But I really like the kit. I got Edwin Surreal on mine. And I'm super stoked. It's obviously after the iconic LA sunset. And this will be our kit for this year and next year, our away kit. Any thoughts on this, guys?
I like it a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. You go.
I could think. I wouldn't say I like it. I wouldn't say I dislike it. What I hate, this is the primary thing I hate about it, is the Adidas template. I don't like that on every MLS kit, it's the same template on the sides with the like just the straight. I don't know what to call it, but like on the side, it's just the straight lines. I just don't like it. I just wish the kit was like all together, like the same thing throughout, and not like a different type on the sides compared to the front and the back. Honestly, and then the stars are my issue too. It's nice to see that there's a lot of stars, but it's just too much, and it just disintegrates the kit itself. It changes and I hope MLS and Adidas can come to somewhat of a change for the stars to make it look better and look honestly the best it can be.
Um, I agree. I feel like the stars are a bit off, especially on like all the kits. If you notice there on the photos, you can see the sixth star is a little closer to the five. But if you look at other photos of what the players are wearing, it's further up. So it seems like there's some inconsistencies there. We also saw in a promotional video MLS was doing with Ian Wright. It was about like all of the best players in MLS, and you saw Peck in it, and you saw his jersey actually had 5 stars on it. So this was made. That one was clearly made before we won the sixth, and before the sixth was added on. So there's a possibility that the sixths were all added on late in production. So there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies. Yeah, I think it's a really nice kit. I agree with the Adidas template. It's the same a lot as you see in like the Premier League as well. A lot of the Adidas teams are wearing the same type of template with the like curved sides. But overall, I think it's a great looking kit. It looks a lot different in person than it will on the photos, especially in different types of lighting. In here, like in my lighting, it looks a lot more purplish, but I can trust you. There is some navy in it, especially in the chest area. But I think the yellow on it is a bit hard to tell in some lighting as well. Like to me, it kind of is more of like a yellowy orange type overall. But again, that's just my opinion. I think this will look great on some players, like a lot of our kits do, but especially players like Surreal, Peck. I think it's gonna look great on Ramirez when he balls out in it for sure on the road. Yeah, I think this will be an all-timer kit, especially if we end up lifting the seventh at the end of the season. This will be remembered fondly.
Yeah.
I disagree with your last statement. I feel like it's gonna be once again like with every other kit, the community kit, the kit from last year, the LA kit. I feel like it's just gonna be a repeat of just using the home kit or the home kit more often than the second kit. Honestly, just probably like 4 to 5 games each season with the secondary kit.
I would say that they do that a lot the second year than the first year. I do think you will see this kit a good amount. Especially when it comes to teams that have white as their primary color, and when we go play on the road, I think you'll see this kit a decent amount this year. But next year, I think by the second year they slowly phase out an away kit, like you said. But I don't think that'll be as big of an issue this year. You can see the sponsor RBC Wealth Management is the new official partner of the LA Galaxy. And I like the sleeve sponsor. It makes it look less empty. I'm not for the whole
Yeah.
Liga MX having like wearing a walking like sponsorship on yourself, but I think RBC Wealth Management looks good. I don't know anything about them, and I don't really care enough to. I mean, after all, we do rep Herbalife on the front, and it's a pyramid scheme. So we don't exactly love Herbalife. It would be interesting to see. I mean, at the end of the day, Herbalife's giving the Galaxy a lot of money, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm sure RBC Wealth Management is also paying a good sum to have as a sleeve sponsor. Surely not as much as Herbalife, but I don't really mind. But yeah, I just want to open this segment up to take questions from the chat. We'll take questions from the chat and then go into power rankings that they have for the to start the season off. But yeah, send any questions in the chat. You could direct them to a person or just send them in general, and we'll go through them. Just let me know.
I actually saw something in chat right now that I wanted to bring up. It's very possible that the RBC management or wealth management sponsor could be exactly like the Honey deal, where we only see it for like one season and then it just completely disappears. We saw the same with I think Herbalife did like a special line or something in 2021, and that was on the community kit for some players, for the players, but not on the actual jersey itself. So it's possible a year from now, maybe even in the middle of the season, you don't see that patch anymore. But it is on all of the jerseys now, on the home jerseys as well. In my opinion, it looks nice.
Yeah.
It clears up that blank space, so I like it.
You even see the Kazar at the bottom of the jersey. That looks very nice on it. I enjoy that a lot. But we got a question from the chat. Who's the top player to be in the new kit? I'm assuming you mean like who does it look best on, I guess. Okay, Galaxy Times, go for it.
Winder, 100%.
He has aura.
He looks amazing, especially from his from the photo shoot from Louisville. It's gonna be amazing once you see him in game. He's gonna glide through the wind, sparkling. Watch.
Yeah. We got Tucker Lepley shouts from our mod over here. Personally, I think Gabriel Pec. You saw him in a lot of promos. He puts on a kit. Sean?
I think it's going to be Pec as well, but that's only because he's going to be scoring goals and getting assists left and right in this. So I think it's going to be more memorable because of that. I think it'll also look really good on Edwin Surreal, but I think he makes every kit look well on him.
Yeah, I've Surreal on the back of this kit, so I'll also throw in that name before I get any shade. Yeah, Galaxy Time.
I saw another question about Mateus de Nascimento. To my knowledge, he is already signed. It just haven't been announced because I'm pretty sure due to his P1 visa, it takes a little while for Brazilians to get their visa, and then it will take just the same thing with Sanabria. It will take a while for to be announced. Probably we'll see him honestly mid-March. Honestly, I expect Nascimento to be playing for the Galaxy.
Yeah, we also got another question for Galaxy Times. Who do you think is going to be the standout player this year?
The standout? I wouldn't really know. Sanabria. I honestly expect him to shine. Really, he's paying decently sized money. It should have been more, but the Nacional were kind of crumbling, so we got lucky that they were crumbling financially. So we got him for decently sized. I do expect him to probably have one of his best seasons here, and then I hope he will get called up to Uruguay again and again. So we'll have another international player after a short-term no international player crisis. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. We got another question. What players have you gotten a selfie or autograph with? Galaxy News, Sean, you want to start?
I've been grateful and lucky enough to meet most of the team from the past few seasons. I've been to many of the season ticket events, so I've again been very lucky and very grateful that I've had the opportunity to meet most of them. But this season, I've gotten a photo with Pec, Painsil, Sanabria. So I always get it. I don't know how to say it correctly or which way of saying it.
Sanabria.
It's Sanabria.
Yeah.
All right. And yeah, Fagundes and Cuevas as well out in Coachella. So, again, with Coachella, it's a great chance to meet the players, as after the game, they always go over to the fans and go sign autographs and take photos with everyone.
For me, I feel like it has to be my GOAT, Painsil. I know most of you guys hated him, especially after the injury crisis that he had. You guys didn't like the numbers, but I always respected him. I always loved him. And now after we won, you guys starting to feel back. I don't understand why you guys ever hated him. He's been my GOAT ever since. Ever since he joined, he felt so honored that I had his name when I met him. So I love this man. He's my everything. I'm sad that he's injured, and I hope he comes back soon. Honestly.
Yeah, I actually got to meet some players on the team like two weekends ago. Over the Super Bowl weekend during one of our games, and my favorite player I met just from like how he interacts with fans was Miguel Berry. if you're looking at names, I saw Marco Royce. I got Marco Royce's autograph. He was chill as well.
I wanted his.
What?
I really wanted his. I got fooled
Yeah.
at the carnival. He almost came to us, and then
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I met JP at the carnival. JP, that was the big one at the carnival. I liked meeting JP as well. My favorite all-time player that I've ever met is Zlatan though, and Kevin Cabral.
That's your goal
But
right there. That's your
yeah,
star.
yeah, you got the GOAT and you got Zlatan. But
If I'm correct,
I
I'm watching the game at the moment. Like the set 2 minutes in or a minute and a half in, he got a penalty against LAFC in which they convert by Bassett. I'm pretty sure, and they're
yeah.
up 1-0 at the moment.
Hey, it's the Kevin Cabral effect. That's
He's
a
always
player.
been a killer for LAFC. He's always been a killer against them, and he's still doing it.
Wait, who scored the penalty? Navarro?
What was it? I don't know. Was it Bassett? I swear it was Bassett or Mihailovic. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I believe Cabral just got the penalty but didn't actually score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next question on a transition to the power rankings. Why do you guys think that the Galaxy should be rated over Inter Miami? Personally, I think the preseason power rankings were just fine.
I like to say his name.
Yeah.
What they based off the preseason power rankings is the team on paper, if I'm correct. It's not how well you did during the preseason at Coachella, the teams you go against during preseason. I feel like it's on paper, and on paper, Miami has the best team by far. They spent a decently amount of money during this offseason. The Galaxy, they signed I forgot how many players they've signed, but on paper at the moment, Miami has the better team on paper by far, especially with Puig and now Payne's still out, and without Dejan, that's the main reason why Miami sit up top at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure. I didn't know it worked that way, but I've always been a big believer in any sport. It doesn't matter whether it's MLS, NFL, NHL, whatever it is. If you're doing a power rankings, the defending champions must be on top because they are the ones that need to be dethroned from that top spot. Inter Miami are first round exits. They lost to Atlanta United. Obviously, they won the Supporter Shield, whatever. We could have a whole different conversation. I could go on a whole podcast about the Supporter Shield, but I do not find that to be a very relevant trophy. They won it by a record-breaking margin, sure. But I do not think Inter Miami should be number one in the power rankings because I think regardless, the defending champion should be number one in any sport because then it gives no point to it because I guarantee the moment we lose the first game this season, they'll drop us so far. They'll take the first opportunity they can to let LAFC go above us because whether you admit it or not, whether anyone admits it or not, there is some MLS bias to these rankings. There is some media bias to these rankings. And we're an LA team, so I'm not trying to sound like, oh, boo-hoo, like the media doesn't like us. But the fact of the matter is that they prefer Inter Miami because they have Lionel Messi on their team. And when you're looking at a preseason power rankings, first of all, let's be clear, power rankings mean nothing. Nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the standings. It indicates nothing. I don't think we were very high in the power rankings before the playoffs started anyway. I know we weren't top. I know we weren't above LAFC in the power rankings.
I'm pretty sure we were number 4 when the playoffs started.
Yeah. I mean, I don't find it to be a very relevant measure of anything, but I will say I always stand very firm that if you win MLS Cup, you're number one. I don't care how the roster looks on paper. I don't care if we dismantle the whole team. You should be number one in the power rankings until proven otherwise. You're giving it based off of vibes. Like, we're going to go over predictions very shortly here. Our predictions are very likely to be wrong. If I had to make an MLS table predictions, I usually do every year, but if I had to make an MLS table predictions, it's going to be very wrong. And these power rankings, you're just judging off of vibes and who the media likes, and the media loves Inter Miami. We know it. Everyone knows it. I can't stand it. So Yeah, anyone else? That's my
Something
tangent.
that can credit my statement on the power rankings about being a paper is if you look at number 7, number 6, number 7, number 8, you can see Columbus has dropped all the way down to 7, and that's mainly due they lost Cucho, they lost Christian Ramirez, they lost main players, and then Charlotte and Atlanta comes in out of nowhere, and I feel like the reason why they're at 8 and 6 is because of their signings. Charlotte, they signed Wilfred Zaha from Fenerbahce, and then Atlanta, they signed Miguel Almiron back, and then more signings. So I feel like the team on paper is the main reason of what the experts are looking at.
Hmm. Yeah, Sean.
I can say I didn't know this was based off of on paper. I thought this was just like an early power rankings to start the season off. But I can say I feel like I agree with you, Peyton. We should be first. I feel like any champion should have been first. If Red Bulls won, it should have been them. But I also feel that we as a club don't get the recognition we deserve from the MLS. But we scored the most goals in the playoffs last year. I don't remember them talking about that too much. But I can tell you for sure, if it was LAFC who did that, they would be getting posters and
Oh yeah.
T-shirts and all over that.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of them, third place LAFC is down 2-0 to Colorado Rapids right now, and we put
Yes.
9 past Colorado in the playoffs. So I mean,
Yeah.
if that's the case, then Colorado should be up there too. But again,
Yeah.
yeah, this looks like it is just based off of paper, so that doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, we should 100% be in the first place spot.
I mean, look, the transfer window is not even closed. If we're grading off of
We
paper,
still got a few more
Crew,
months.
Columbus Crew will be signing a new star striker for their club. They have a lot of money. I've seen some rumors behind them potentially going after some big name players. It's not fair to put them at 7th when they haven't even completed a roster. But look at LAFC. I know they've been making some good signings, but you're gonna put them 3rd when
I
they've
have a
lost
feeling
Mateus
they have.
Bogus. Yeah.
I have a feeling they've signed probably a player, a star player, and they haven't told anybody yet apart from the MLS. I think that's the main reason is that they signed someone. But in secret.
Maybe I don't know. I also think that you've seen for a very long time, if we're just going to be very outwardly honest and direct, that the media favors LAFC and Miami. I mean, they favored us in the past because, we used to be the big star team with Beckham. I mean, they created the whole designated player rule for us. So I'm not going to, you come and go in terms of MLS favoritism, but let's be very clear and let's be very honest. There's MLS media favorability towards LAFC and Inter Miami. When you look at, I saw MLS Cup predictions. I saw all of these award predictions from the MLS media. It's all LAFC and Miami. All LAFC and Miami. There's not a single Galaxy player or the team itself recognized in any of the award predictions. It's not a coincidence. Even Sasha Kleshton's gone right back to loving LAFC. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much about being second place because it's still second place, but I guarantee the moment we lose, they'll drop us as far as they can because they rather see some other teams like LAFC or Miami ahead of us. And honestly, it is what it is. It's just I'm trying not to put too much energy into power rankings or get riled up over it because it means nothing.
The thing is that for some reason, the thing that I don't get is that MLS media is so much different in terms of international media. How much, in my perspective, I feel like and throughout these power rankings, Miami is number 1 internationally now, but the Galaxy is 2. And to my belief, I feel like LAFC is not even top 10 internationally known. Looking at these power rankings, they are not really known as much in the world compared to every other team here. Honestly.
Yeah, look at every time they confuse us for LAFC. I just
Since the start of their club.
Yeah, literally. I saw one today for I think it was Igor Leshanowski, who's going to end up signing for them at center back, and I saw that rumored to us today. That's not happening. But yeah,
Where
let's
does that rumor come from? From transfer market, directly from transfer market, or what happened with
I
that?
saw it somewhere today on Twitter, but it was it was just simply they got our names mixed up. Look at Igor Jesus, their new midfielder, got the names mixed up. Look at like the track record of their players are name mix-ups with the Galaxy. So yeah, let's just I'm the power rankings just annoy me every time, even last season when they came out, because you rarely tend to see where MLS puts like their money and favorability on. You know, last year I'm sure they would have loved to see a Miami LAFC final. That would have been their dream.
I would
But
agree with the last season power rankings. I would have. I agreed with I would have agreed that they put us in the bottom 30. Honestly, because of how bad 2023 was. It was
yeah.
horrendous. That
Oh, yeah.
was pathetic of a performance from the club and everybody from the players.
Yeah, but once again, you look at last season's power rankings and whatever. If you're saying they go off of on paper, they had us near the bottom last year. If I'm not mistaken, they had us near the bottom last year. But that team looked a lot better on paper. Like you knew
I
that team
think
would be better on paper.
the preseason was before. I think they enabled it before Peck was signed. Oh
Yeah.
no, Peck or Paintsville. One of them. One of them wasn't fully announced yet.
I'm pretty sure
when they
both of
signed.
them weren't announced until like the week before the first game
Yeah.
of the season.
Because
That's
Peck,
fair.
he did his welcome video while he was still on the U20 something tour with Brazil, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just want to transition here into the main point of this podcast. LA Galaxy versus San Diego FC. This is our last podcast before the home opener. I believe there will be a banner of some sort being raised, or I think they might be doing that thing where you can see all the years we won the championship, and they'll likely add 2024 to that. I'm not sure if there'll be like an official banner, but there will be something of some sorts. This is a celebration. This is, you know, you get to flex up on the new California team, be like, hey, you're coming to a league where we're 6-time MLS Cup champions. Like, you got your work cut out for you in California. And yeah, let's just dive right into this game preview. Sean, any thoughts on San Diego?
I am really, really excited for this game. I've missed this club so much. It's been too long. I mean, preseason happened and I was loving preseason, but it's just not the same as regular MLS play. This is going to be for sure should be a sold out game if it's not already.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, again, it's the first game since you've won the trophy. You have the newcomer San Diego. And with Lozano coming in, he's a big name. There's going to be people wanting just to see him play as well.
Yeah.
But this won't be an easy game for sure. Home opener is never easy because it's one of the first few games of the season when you're still trying to get that rhythm going. I know I mentioned it the last time I was on here. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like we were seeing in the playoffs. I think it's going to be 2-1 in favor of us.
To my knowledge, I think they're not going to do a banner. I don't think they do banner. I'm pretty sure they're just going to put the number under MLS champions under the previous big old Universal Studio sign on top of the screen to above the concourse, to left the concourse. That's what we're going to do. They're just going to put the number there once again. And then I disagree with you, Sean. It's honestly going to be a Galaxy thrashing. Just due to the fact, looking at San Diego, that's the reason why San Diego ain't in the top 10 power rankings. And that's why I can agree with mainly the MLS experts of why they put them all near bottom for San Diego. Their defense is not looking good. They do not have a very good defense. If you look at the most players, a few players are from Inter Miami. They are complete Miami rejects, not needed. Negri, Dos Santos, you have and I think also a real Salt Lake defender who's probably their best defender. I'm pretty sure was it Glad, if I'm correct.
Oh, Justin Glad is on San Diego.
I feel like I'm pretty sure Salt Lake defender.
I thought it was Reyes from New York. That was their star center.
I know, but I'm pretty sure San Diego picked someone up from Salt Lake during this draft.
Okay.
I couldn't remember who was, but I feel like it is gonna be a Galaxy thrashing. Galaxy will cruise 4-0 victory at home in front of the supporters in front of the new seats actually. So that'll be very nice to see. Very
Yeah.
comfortable. No more benches. But yeah, I do see Peck balling out. Honestly, getting at least a goal and probably 2 assists. I see. Oh, Lawfulson, thank you, Vato.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought okay. All right. I thought Loffelson played for Colorado.
Did he? I
I
don't even know. I'm sorry.
I agree with Sean. Galaxy win 2-1 against San Diego. I believe that this game will be a close one. Because MLS is a very close league. You look at these teams, even San Diego, all of these teams are separated by like 2%. They're so close to each other. This league has the most parity. I think we will get the job done, but I don't think results in MLS are as predictable as they may look on paper. I think San Diego is going to have a lot of energy, a lot to prove. You come into this game, and if San Diego can topple the defending MLS Cup champions, you make a big statement for your club that you are here and you are here to compete. It would end our unbeaten streak at home for over a year. It's coming on 500 days. That being said, it will not happen. I think the Galaxy win 2-1, and if I had to pick goals, I think Christian Ramirez and Gabriel Pec get one each respectively.
I really feel like the Galaxy itself throughout the years, we do good, especially when it comes to new clubs integrating. At St. Louis, we didn't do good at all. We didn't really do good. We didn't do bad. I'm pretty sure we tied when they came in, and then
yeah,
we
I believe so.
lost. And then Charlotte, Efrain, McEfra, Mr.
Mhm.
Man, the McDonald's
Guess
lover, did score that silence silence the previous Charlotte or MLS record attendance record with his amazing goal. I do expect another showcasing from the LA Galaxy of defeating the new guys coming in.
Sean?
I'm going back to my prediction. I'm just also basing it off of previous years. I know on paper this team is better than previous years. I think the biggest win we had was 3-2 at home against Red Bulls a few years ago. But again,
But we
if
also do good on the home first over home game.
That's true. That is
if
very
you're back to what Payton was saying with this being a close league and it not always seeming the game seeming what it was going to be like on paper, we saw New York Red Bulls in the MLS Cup final. And, well, I mean, we didn't have Ricky Puig in that. But that game was still a very close game. And, I mean, we had our chances that we didn't capitalize on, but New York did too. And it can be very much the same case where San Diego bring a tough fight to us come opening day on Sunday.
I wouldn't say the New York Red Bulls game was really close on paper. On looking at the scoreline, yes, it was close, but the Galaxy they killed themselves basically. They didn't fight in the second half as much. They didn't feel like they wanted it. They felt like as if they already had it in the bag. Even after you can hear from the match scenes from the Galaxy YouTube channel posting Vanny doing the halftime team talking for motivating, but it just didn't feel like the Galaxy really wanted to fight that much, and it felt like they already had it in the bag. And the second half was pretty boring from the Galaxy and New York Red Bulls. So I felt like they would have it would have been more honestly, probably 2 more goals, especially with New York Red Bull star striker center back out. It would have been easier, but they slowed themselves down easily.
Yeah. I think Ant brought up a pretty good point in the chat. Something I never see talked about is our home success being linked to us playing on the biggest field in MLS. We play wide a lot, home versus away. Very, very good point. Once again, you're right. This is not brought up often, but you talk about our home success. You talk about a home streak. Teams are not used to playing on fields as wide as we have them. It may not seem like that crazy of a concept, but look at New York City FC. Look at how they utilize their small field, and we're completely different. We're on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. We utilize the length of our field because we have really, really fast and good wingers, and Joseph Paintsil and Gabriel Pec. We'll go into the lineups here, but I do think that is a very good point. and this is my starting lineup for the game. Is I have Novak Mitrovic starting in goal. You saw him start 3 preseason matches. I think he will get the nod here, but I think I would not be very surprised to see McCarthy. I've heard that the goalkeeper spot is not decided yet, despite Novak starting the 3 preseason games. But I would give the slight edge to him regardless, because I think my hunch is that he's had a better preseason and he's earned more minutes, and they told him that this is your year, go out and get it. The back line's pretty standard. I think you're gonna have John Nelson winning the spot over Julian Ade, which was the big question going into the season. Is Julian Ade finally going to take the step up to be the starter? No, I don't. I think Julian Ade is potentially on his way out. And John Nelson has earned the spot. We'll see if he can continue the momentum, because if not, Julian Ade is waiting on the bench. You got Miro Garces, Maya Yoshida, and Miki Yamane, all pretty standard. And then you got Edwin Soria and Lucas Sanabria in the midfield. And Marco Royce at center attacking mid. We'll see if he's healthy enough to play. Diego Fagundes and Gabriel Pec on the wings, and Christian Ramirez up top. I think will be the lineup for the LA Galaxy, and we'll go into Sean's lineup, I believe.
All right, this is my lineup. I have the same defense with Novak Mitrovic in net. I just feel like he's proven, I mean, not really proven himself last season, but in preseason, again, with the 3 starts, he's shown he should be starting. Yamane, Yoshida, and Garces. And then I think I agree with Nelson starting. He was consistent and solid last year, coming off of but sitting on the bench for the first half until Awude's injury. But looking at Awude in preseason, it looked like Nelson was just so much more comfortable out there. I don't believe we play with an attacking mid. I think we're approaching that similar to how we approached MLS Cup. I think we will be starting Sorio maybe a bit more higher up than when we did there. Sanabria deeper. And I feel like they're going to start Winder. I think they have trust in him. I feel like he was one of the better players in Coachella, and he's shown that he can play these higher intensity, quicker games. I feel like, and I just feel like he deserves it too, coming off of a great USL year for him.
Yeah.
My attack, I have Pec on the right. I mean, there wasn't really a debate about that. Fagundes on the left. I mean, we don't have Payne, so it's the next best option. And then you're starting Ramirez up top over Miguel Berry.
Yep. Galaxy Times, you are up.
Okay, so to everybody, this lineup is really different. Apart from the defense, honestly, and the attack, the midfield is what different. But Mitrovic, I see him in the net. He started 3 games, and usually the lineup that a team plays for their last preseason game is usually the lineup we see for the start of the season. Same thing with the back 4. Nelson, with all day rumors still circulating with River Plate among him leaving. We'll see him do something. And then I see a 4-3-3 attacking from Greg Vanny. Different from Sean. I do see Roy starting up top. I do see Sanabria continuing that midfield. And then the main focal point I see is Winder starting. I feel like Winder had a better preseason than Cirillo. And for some reason, I just feel like Winder is going to have a good season this year. Ultimately, he might win Young Player of the Year, just like Pec, because he brings that quality. He brings the experience. His brother is already in Europe, if I'm corrected.
Yeah.
Shifted, so he brings a good likelihood. I don't know. And then the attack, same thing with Pec on the right, Fagundes on the left, Ramirez. It's just a no-brainer. Unless Nascimento gets announced tomorrow or Thursday, it's Ramirez all the way starting at striker.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you have Elijah Winder starting over Edwin Sorio. I am a part of the Sorio hive. I do not believe that will be happening, but I like a bold take. So we'll see if that ends up panning out. I'm very high on Elijah Winder, but I don't think he's better than Edwin Sorio. I think Edwin Sorio is the guy. In fact, I think it's more likely that you see Winder starting over Sanabria than you see him starting over Edwin Sorio, in my opinion. if they need to give Sanabria some time to adjust. But regardless, I think it's very set in stone that the midfield will be Cerrillo and Sanabria. I don't know if Winder gets the start. It's interesting you two have Winder. I wouldn't entirely mind it. But I just I just don't exactly see it, because I like I don't think you bench Marco Reus, and if he's healthy, which is a big if. This Sean's lineup could 100% be the lineup in my opinion if Marco Reus is out, but if he's healthy, if he's available, I would favor him to start. You paid good money for him to start, so that's my opinion.
I would like to say from a comment from LA Galaxy in 2025, a comment. I can't believe I found it. Royce starting. I just feel like Royce is a starter because of his knowledge. He brings experience to this very very young team. This team is really young, honestly. If you look at it, and especially in that midfield, without Royce, if put Royce, take Royce out, and you have Solilo, and the average age is about 23, 22. That's not really what you want for a midfield, a professional midfield. You really want at least one experienced player to be in. And Royce will coordinate. And then looking at it, Ramirez is old. You don't expect him to drop back like he did at Columbus, make some plays. He won't do as much. Fagundes, you don't really say that he would. He's really good when he gets on the ball, but you want to say making plays. And then Peck, I feel like he would be a really good. I feel like Greg will probably connect him with Royce like they did with Puig, with Peck, honest, with Peck and Royce. So I do expect to say that's the reason why Royce is in there. I do expect Royce to be in there.
Sean?
If Royce is healthy, I can see him starting, but I also have strong faith that Winder gets the starts, even if Royce is healthy.
Yeah, I do have Royce starting. I think it's very interesting. Something you touched on there, Galaxy Times, is the average age of the squad is very important. Marco Reus is a big leader in this locker room. He's a veteran presence. This guy's, played for Dortmund for as many years as he has. He has that pedigree. He's respected. If you see a version of Reus like he played against Atlanta United, you will be okay. The Galaxy will be okay if he could stay healthy, which is probably not going to happen. But if you could get a good amount of games from Marco Reus and you're able to manage his minutes and you see him get back to his best, I don't think you spend as much money as you do on Marco Reus. Give him a 3-year contract for him not to start is the answer to that. But when Ricky comes back, yeah, he will probably head to the bench. But until then, I think Marco Reus is a starter for as many games as he's here. I just have a question.
I'm glad you brought up the locker room. People, for some reason, hate Zabaleta. I know he's not that good when he comes on the pitch, but the reason why Greg keeps him is not just because he's his nephew. It's because what he brings to the locker room. He's a very engaging player. He is loved by everybody in the Galaxy locker room, and we're not paying that much for him. And he brings that experience also playing with MLS champions Toronto all previously. So it's the main reason. He just the atmosphere he brings, and the funness basically.
Yeah.
For Zabaleta.
You're looking at near league minimum for Eric Zavaleta.
Yeah.
I'll always back a player is making near league minimum, because I guarantee if he wasn't on the Galaxy, he'd be somewhere else in MLS, and he's a locker room guy. We had Juninho on this team in 2019, and Juninho did not play a match other than Open Cup, I believe. But Juninho is a locker room guy. He was a locker room guy. Obviously, now he's on the coaching staff, but he's an academy type of guy. But Marco Reus, very well respected. Eric Zavaleta. These are guys you need. These are guys you need in the locker room when you lose people like Mark Delgado, when you lose people like Gaston Bergman. You lose these big guys in the locker room that even Martin Cáceres, people loved. And you gotta keep the vibes up. You gotta keep the chemistry up. Marco Royce, though, is a very capable starter, and I don't think you spend that much money for him not to be a starter because he'd be starting most other places in MLS. And I think we're no different once Ricky Puig goes down. It's next man up, and Marco Royce is that guy. The question I had for you guys, we could start with Sean. Players to watch out for San Diego. Anyone that stands out? Obviously, you got Chucky Lozano, but anyone else?
From the Galaxy, I mean, obviously Peck is going to be a player to watch, being the newcomer of the year last year. However, I think he gets an assist on the day, but he's going to be a type of player that gets marked by 2 or 3 guys at all time, just making sure he doesn't breathe whatsoever in that attack. But I think Ramirez will have a great game for us, getting a brace. So my players to watch for us are Peck and Ramirez.
Yeah, what about San Diego?
For sure, Chucky Lozano, and as well as I'm not sure if he will be playing or starting, but Emiro Boateng, I mean, a former Galaxy man himself. We've seen in the past former Galaxy players like Cabral wanting to score against us, so that I think he will want to score at Dignity Health once again.
Yeah, Galaxy Times.
For the Galaxy, honestly, I do see Pec and Sanabria being the main focal points for this game. They bring the willpower, the talent, and the experience, honestly. So they'll probably change the game. If Puig was in there, I'll honestly pick Peck and Puig, but without Puig, it's Sanabria. And then for San Diego, it's probably Chucky Lozano, and then that Danish midfielder they signed from Danish or Norwegian midfielder they signed from over there. I know the club was Norway, but I forgot his nationality.
You're talking about Dreyer?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe he's a winger. If that's who you're referring to, I think Dreyer is my player to watch, as well as obviously Chucky Lozano is the boring pick, but the right one because he is. I think he'll be an incredible MLS player. But Dreyer is the second designated player that they brought in. I think you're right. I think he is also one to watch out for. That being said, we're all on board that the Galaxy win. You got me predicting 2-1, Sean predicting 2-1, and Galaxy Times predicting 4-0. We shall see. I'm looking forward to the game, and we'll take any last questions from the chat before we head out. We got we'll start with who's getting a pupusa during Sunday's game. I know I will. Absolutely, from AFJA. They're incredible people. Shout out AFJA. We're not being paid for this, but they're an incredible organization. I love what they stand for. And on top of that, the pupusas are really good. So yeah, I always get comment number 2. What about you, Sean?
I might not be getting a pupusa, but I'll for sure be getting Kathy's cookies. Some of the best cookies there at the stadium. So I'll make sure to go out of my way to get maybe a bucket of those.
Yeah, Galaxy Times.
I've never really had a AFJA El Salvador, so I don't really know what they are. I know what the pupusas, they're an organization. They help all Latino and Latina kids, but I never really had their pupusas before.
Yeah. And then Galaxy News, who's on the back of your kit here?
I actually got it blank. It was a long wait. I wanted to get something on the back. I always get since 90s. I'm not going to get any player. I'm going to get since 96 like I do on the rest of my jerseys. Just because I think it makes it last longer as well. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. Galaxy Times. What player do you want to get on the next kit that you get?
It has to be my beautiful man, Joseph Paintsville, of course, every time. He's amazing.
Yeah, we got our moderator, Tucker Lepley. He's been advocating for Tucker all night. I know he's gonna get a Tucker Lepley jersey. For my next kit, I really want probably Joseph Paintsville. I agree with you, Galaxy Times. I think it's about time I get a JP kit. Next question is will Miki Yamane get any love as one of the top players this year? I hope so.
I feel
I
honestly do too. He's an amazing fullback. Honestly, especially with his play style, he brings experience, especially from the champions of Japan again for another season. He did well last season. He was a big increase from Jules, and especially and decently sized big increase from Caligari. But especially with his play style, I see him transitioning to the midfield as an inverted fullback, as Manchester City do. So I do expect him. I hope he gets a lot of praise this season, as he did really well last season.
Yeah. Galaxy Times, will you be at Sunday's game? We got a question from Vato Samuel.
I do not speak.
Okay. All right. Galaxy News, will
Mhm.
you be there?
Oh yes, I'll be there. I'm very
I
excited
will
to
be there as well. Yes. That is it for tonight. Thank you, everyone who showed up. And thank you all in the chat. As for me, I am Peyton, aka LA Galaxy _Buzz on Instagram. And Sean?
I'm Sean. I'm Galaxy News 101 on Instagram and on Twitter. Also, make sure you check out the Talking Galaxy Instagram page in the following days because we will be posting our season predictions.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let's go over that real quick. That is a good point that you said that. We'll briefly go over ours. Team MVP, I have Gabriel Pec. I think that's pretty straightforward. My placement in the West, I have us finishing 5th. I'm a bit nervous to put all of my eggs in this team's basket when I think that injuries will be a relevant issue throughout the whole season. It makes me a bit hesitant. Obviously, losing Ricky Puig and Joseph Paintsil for the start of the year makes me a bit hesitant to be higher on this team. Golden Boot, I also have Gabriel Pec. Defender of the year, we speak of Miki Amane, who should have made MLS All-Star game last year. Let's be very clear. Will be defender of the year for the Galaxy. Breakout player, Elijah Winder. Most minutes, Mai Yoshida will do it again. He'll run it back. He had the most minutes of all in MLS last year. If he stays healthy, and that hasn't been an issue this far, knock on wood, he will have the most minutes again. And then most assists, also Gabriel Pec. You guys, Sean?
I'll go with mine. My placement is 4th. I think it's going to be a step down from what we had last year with no Ricky. My MVP is actually Edwin Cerrillo. I think he's going to boss the midfield and be one of the better midfielders in MLS this year. My Golden Boot, I have Ramirez. I think he's just going to bag the most goals for us. Defender of the year, I also have it as Miki Amane. He didn't get the credit he deserved last year, especially in the playoffs. He was such a solid right back in MLS last year. Breakout player, I have I can't say his name correct. I always mispronounce it, but the U22 striker we're interested in, or allegedly.
Nascimento.
Yes, I have him as my breakout player.
Right.
For
Most
me,
minutes.
oh,
Oh, sorry. Most minutes I have Yoshida, and then most assists I have Pec.
Right. Galaxy Times.
for me, I have my team MVP will obviously Peg. I don't. It would probably most likely be Puig, but he's out up until August. Honestly, placement I see us getting second. The only club that is better than us probably, and will probably do it again, as they always beat us, will be FC Dallas. They have made some key signings this offseason, and I do expect them to do really well and get number one. For my Golden Boot, I have Peck. I do with this team, with how this team is looking like. He's probably our main guy, honestly. Defender of the year will probably be Maya Yoshida. He's probably the most reliable guy we can see. My breakout player of the year is a wild one. It will be Riley Delgado. I do expect him to come out, and especially if Nelson or Alde gets injured, I do expect him to cover that fullback role, that left back role. And my most minutes will be Sanabria. People would probably put yet again Yoshida probably, but I do see Sanabria because I do see Yoshida or Goddesses getting switched out between Zanka and maybe Axel Esenge. And then my most assist is Sanabria also.
All right, that is those are our predictions. They, like you said, they will be out on social media. We'll have all the Galaxy content creators predictions out. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Galaxy Times, last plug of your socials before we're out.
My name is Jacob, and I'm Galaxy Times, I guess.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks everyone.
Thank
tuning
you,
in.
everyone.
Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.
Have a good one at the home opener.